Have you ever reached a moment in your life where everything you thought you could depend on collapsed? Maybe it was your health, your finances, your relationships, or even your own strength, and suddenly you realized you had no weapons left, nothing to fight with, nothing to hold on to, except faith. I'm not talking about the kind of faith that gets casually thrown around in motivational quotes or church bulletins. I mean the raw, desperate, trembling kind of faith that you cling to when you are standing at the edge of yourself. The kind of faith where your voice shakes when you pray, where your tears become your only offering, and where you don't even know if God is listening, yet you keep reaching out anyway. And maybe, right now, that's where you are. Maybe life has stripped you down to the point where faith is no longer a luxury, but the only weapon you have left. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Faith doesn't feel like a weapon at first. Faith feels like weakness. It feels like surrender. It feels like standing in the middle of the battlefield with nothing in your hands. Think of David standing before Goliath. The giant towered over him with sword, spear, and armor. David had no weapon, at least none that made sense to anyone else. A sling and a stone? Laughable, ridiculous. Yet David says, "You come to me with sword and spear and javelin, but I come to you in the name of the Lord Almighty." 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 45. The real weapon wasn't the stone. It wasn't David's skill. It was his faith. Faith turned a child's toy into a divine missile. Faith made the impossible possible. And that's the first biblical secret about faith. Faith only looks weak until it wins. But let's be honest, faith doesn't always look victorious. Sometimes faith gets tested in ways that break you before they build you. Job knew this well. He lost everything: his wealth, his children, his health. His friends told him to give up. His wife told him to curse God. But Job clung to one thing. "Though he slay me, yet will I hope in him." Job chapter 13, verse 15. That's not the kind of verse you print on a coffee mug. That's not a verse you quote lightly. That's a verse you live when your whole world burns down and faith is your only weapon left to carry you through the fire. Faith doesn't always stop the fire. Sometimes it's the only thing that helps you walk through it without losing your soul. We live most of our lives under the illusion of control. We trust in our education, our careers, our health, our savings accounts. We trust in people, friends, spouses, mentors. We even trust in our own resilience, believing that no matter what comes, we can handle it. But then something happens. The diagnosis, the betrayal, the phone call that changes everything, the storm you didn't see coming. Suddenly, everything you thought you could rely on proves fragile, and you're left exposed. The Bible speaks about this reality bluntly. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we trust in the name of the Lord our God. Psalm 27. In ancient times, chariots and horses were the ultimate weapons, the military technology of the day. Yet the psalmist says even those collapse, even those fail. The only weapon that cannot be stripped away is faith. Here's the paradox. Faith often begins where our strength ends. We don't truly discover faith until we run out of options. As long as we have other weapons, money, influence, health, connections, we will reach for them first. Faith often remains dormant until everything else fails. The Apostle Paul captured this mystery when he wrote, "For when I am weak, then I am strong." 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verse 10. Strength in God's economy is hidden inside weakness. Faith is the invisible weapon forged in the fire of our inability. This is the second biblical secret about faith. Faith is strongest when you feel weakest. But there's another enemy you face when faith is your only weapon. Fear. Fear is the shadow that whispers, "What if this doesn't work? What if God doesn't come through? What if you're wasting your last ounce of hope on nothing?" Peter knew that fear. When Jesus called him to walk on the water, Peter actually did it. His faith lifted him above the impossible. But then he saw the waves, he heard the wind, and his faith faltered. He began to sink. Here's the third biblical secret about faith. Faith doesn't erase fear, it teaches you to walk through it. It teaches you to keep your eyes on Christ even when the storm rages louder than your prayers. Faith is not the absence of fear, it's the decision to move forward anyway. Think about it. Every other weapon in life can be stripped away. Your wealth can vanish, your health can decline, your reputation can be destroyed. But faith, that is untouchable. No one can take it from you. They can imprison your body, but not your faith. They can silence your voice, but not your faith. They can take away every earthly weapon, but faith is forged in the unseen realm where no hand can reach. The author of Hebrews says, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Faith is real, even when invisible. It is substance, it is evidence, it is not imaginary, it is the only weapon that works where human weapons fail. One day, your faith will be tested in its purest form, when nothing else remains. When you stand face to face with death, with eternity, with the unknown. In that moment, your career won't matter, your possessions won't matter, even your earthly relationships won't be able to stand in your place. All you will have is faith. This is why Paul says, "I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith." Notice that? At the end of his life, the only weapon Paul still carried was faith. And it was enough. So here's the question for you. What are you holding on to right now that's keeping you from discovering the power of faith? What weapons do you still trust more than God? Is it your intellect, your bank account, your social circle, your own willpower? Maybe God is allowing those weapons to fail you, not to destroy you, but to strip you down to the only weapon that truly wins: faith. The Bible says, "This is the victory that has overcome the world, even our faith." 1 John chapter 5, verse 4. Faith is not wishful thinking. It's not a fragile hope. It's not blind optimism. Faith is the weapon that transforms weakness into strength, fear into courage, and defeat into victory. But it only becomes visible when it's all you have left. So if you're in that place right now, stripped, broken, empty, don't mistake it for the end. It might just be the moment where God is handing you the strongest weapon you'll ever hold: faith. Because when faith becomes your only weapon, you'll discover it was the only one you ever needed. So I'll leave you with this question. If faith were truly your only weapon, would it be enough for you today? If this message stirred something in you, take a moment, don't just click away. Share this with someone who might need to hear it. And if you want more reflections like this, subscribe and join us here at Bible Beyond Words. Together, let's keep uncovering the truths that speak beyond the page. Thank you. Be blessed.